Everyone for showing up this afternoon.
15 of
It's a nice thing to do on a dreary afternoon. Anyway, Valley Arts is very pleased to do this. Our gallery is in the space that Judy once had her shop in. The retrospective, I think, was well thought out by Judy. It was a very easy show to hang. It's always easy to hang good work. So, anyway, I'll let Judy take over.
You can have a brownie. Okay, just a few words. First, thanks to Valley Arts, Dottie, Gary, board members, some here, and volunteers, because I see them over here when I was hanging the show, and to Peggy Potter, who helped arrange all of this too. And most of all to my husband, Jim, there you are, who, without whose help, I could never have done it. And all my friends here today. To tell the truth, I never really thought about having a retrospective. I didn't think that I was that old. But when I thought about it further, it intrigued me. Not everyone has a chance to go over their life's work, particularly in public, and say, did I do that? It's really eye-opening to watch my own creative processes through the years here on these walls, which were my shop and gallery, Tulip Tree, for 3 decades. And I do feel that too. I say, I did okay, and I'm pretty satisfied at 88.
While everybody's still here, just gather in a circle around here. We have a little treat for Judy.
On Sunday, October 2nd, 2016, in a show that celebrated Waitsfield artist Judy Dodds' 60-plus year creative career, Valley Arts presented a retrospective exhibition of Dodds' work at the Festival Gallery, which is housed in the same premises as the gallery she owned and operated for 30 years, Tulip Tree Crafts. The 25 works in a variety of mediums tell the story of Dodds' creative, colorful, and beautiful life well lived. Dodds' textile creations include pieces with hand-spun and dyed and woven fabric, applique and quilted wall hangings, watercolors and monoprints, and then her more recent works of hooked rugs. Judy has won numerous awards and honors for her work. She lives with her husband, Jim, a writer and graphic artist, in a 150-year-old farmhouse in Waitsfield. Over her long career, Dodds has designed and fabricated dozens of Vermont landscape wall hangings, as well as a series of works with a cultural focus, using both applique and quilting techniques. Judy devised a special technique to create her windowscapes, in which she layers the fabric on muslin and then cuts away the backing to leave a translucent piece that makes some of her fabric landscapes and still lifes mimic stained glass.
I like to use the colors and textures of fabrics the way a painter uses paint and canvas to create spatial relationships and changes in mood. My wall hangings express my feelings for the beautiful Vermont landscape around me. My world, my kitchen window.
The 25 pieces in this show and 5 other works from previous exhibitions represent over 60 years of artistic experience and innovation, and a talent that inspires both other fabric artists and the many customers who have celebrated Judy's talent and aesthetic taste since her early teens.
If you look over here on the board is the little mock-up that I did. So I have already sewn this one, and this one. And we're just starting to lay this one out from our transparencies that we made from the slides that we blew off. This fabric is very, very slippery and very hard to work with. It's hard to sew, it's hard to cut, it's hard to do everything with. I'm going to take the plastic down to the table so it won't move. So the first thing I see here, I'm going to start from the bottom up, is this blue called sea blue, ocean blue, I think. I'm holding it up to the light because every one of these pieces of fabric has got some kind of flaw in it. So I have to be sure that it's not going to be used or not going to show in the finished piece. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to cut this through using these lines, which if you come up and do a close-up, you might be able to see through here to cut the whites.
So you're cutting to the line on the polyethylene pattern, which is the second layer underneath there.
Now, you can't put pins in this because then the pinholes will show later. So the only thing I can do is to lay it out piece by piece, the way I did with this one. Now, here's panel number 3. This has been sewed except for this one piece. Now, this is panel 3. We have already cut all these pieces to its own pattern, and I've sewed most of them. And you notice how I have to roll it up to keep it from being too wrinkled as it's sewed. Now this one little piece here hasn't been sewed yet, And I wanted to show you that I use a spray, a light coat of a spray adhesive that's just like a temporary thing to hold the fabric and sew it. And I'm going to sew this piece now, just to show you how it's done. Anything this large is extremely difficult to handle, particularly this ripstop nylon, because it's stiff and you can't squinch it up the way you can regular fabric. So it makes this kind of a job 3 times as hard as any kind of regular cotton or velvet or anything. I'm using a ballpoint needle, and I'm also using a special feeder foot that feeds it at the top and the bottom evenly, without which this impossible job would not be possible. Now I'm going to sew this piece. I'm using a zigzag stitch and white polyester thread. Thread because I'm going to tie these threads from the back so they'll be very strong. This fabric could also be outside too. It would hold up pretty well.
What's the big deal? It says rights on the left side. Coming down. He did it again.
Okay, now this one has to hang down.
A big major problem. The restaurant was also not running, and they didn't want us in the chairs.
Okay, yeah, see, this is really good.
That's pretty impressive.
Okay, down. We gotta go down quite a bit. A foot. Well, 6 inches anyhow.
That looks great.
Oh, thank you. Okay, now. Now, see, we have to choose. You can look, but now level them. Let's have a look. I don't think so. Finally, I think it's one and I'll put it here. And the only criticism that we've had is when you come up the steps, you do see some white walls.
Well, I think that's something, the only thing you do is get back there and move those this way. But if you
From the early 70s until 2003, Judy Dodds owned a gallery called Tulip Tree Crafts, which was in the space now occupied by Valley Arts Festival Gallery for most of its 30-year tenure, and where she sold her work and that of other Vermont artisans and extended her flair for art into painting and other mediums. When Judy sold Tulip Tree, she turned her attention to rug hooking. She began creating hooked rugs in the late 1990s after seeing an exhibition at the Round Barn in Waitsfield, and started a rug hooking group in the Mad River Valley, which is still active. In 2006, she and Jim made a 60-minute video called The Heart of Hooking, which tells the stories of rug hooking artists and the ideas behind their works. The video won the Vermont Historical Society Award for Excellence. The large hooked rug titled The Road Home was finished in 2012 and depicts the winding path that brought Judy Dodds to Vermont. She was born in New Orleans in 1927 and spent her early life in a cute little house on Lee's Circle, with the pillar with General Robert E. Lee's statue overseeing her determined efforts to learn to walk. After finishing her years at Country Day School, Judy studied art at Tulane University. She then moved to New York City to work in the theater and costume trades, where she met her first husband, sculptor Jane Seidenberg. The couple moved to Cape Cod for a short while and then back to New Orleans, where Judy spent 15 years as curator of textiles and decorative arts at the Louisiana State Museum. Judy's connection to Vermont began in the 1960s when she spent summers in the Mad River Valley with her family. She moved to Cambridge, Massachusetts after the end of her first marriage, where she was exhibits director at the Boston Children's Museum for 3 years. But preferring the natural beauty and openness of the Mad River Valley, she bought a house in Waitsfield in 1970 and moved here with her children. Judy married Jim Dodds in 1973 and opened Tulip Tree Crafts.
Sitting there ready to go, step on the gas of my GTO, 389 under the hood, burning a Hummer just like it should.